Good day, I'm Marshawn Chrysler, and this is WAJ We Are Jackson News, and here are today's top stories. The 2016 Mississippi Legislature is underway at the state capitol. The City of Jackson's legislative priorities include requesting additional funding and support for infrastructure and public safety. Mayor Tony T. Yarborough addressed lawmakers during the opening days of the session, welcoming them back to the capital city. In other legislative news, the City Council has approved a resolution to oppose a proposal to take away the city's control of the Jackson International Airport. A bill filed this legislative session would diminish the city's authority to appoint members to the airport authority. Mayor Tony T. Yarborough says such a move would be detrimental to Jackson citizens and the city's future economic development plans. In this week's Mayor segment, Mayor Yarborough spotlights a new residential development underway in the heart of the city.
Great day, Jackson, Mississippi. We are back again here in the great city of Jackson to talk about some more of the amazing things that we have going on in the city. I am here in the amazing Helm Street Historic District. We are here where we talk about such history as Mount Helm Church that was started here some years ago. It is actually the oldest African-American church here in the city. And there's a great project, a housing development that is happening here. And we're being joined here by Mr. Denton Gibbs, who is leading this effort as it relates to making sure that this project gets going. Mr. Gibbs, why don't you talk to us a little bit about what you're doing here and how you feel about this project?
Well, we're getting real close to being complete. In this month of January, we'll have 25 homes occupied.
Okay.
In February, 20 more homes will be occupied.
Wow.
And the balance between March and April. Community center of 4,000 square feet will be completed at that time as well. Each unit is about 1,520 square feet, comes complete with an enclosed two-car garage, central air and heat, washer, dryer, refrigerator, dishwasher. It's a turnkey unit. They're very nice homes. There's 88 of them scattered through this neighborhood. So it is a sight to behold when you come off of High Street and you see these homes. It's
now you've been doing this kind of work for some time now, particularly in the metro area. Have you seen anything like this in Jackson in the past 15 years or so?
Well, this is a new concept for Jackson because they are homes for affordable housing, but they come with a caveat that the owners, if they live in the homes, they pay their rent, they follow the rules, they can buy these homes for a reduced price at a fixed mortgage after 15 years. Wow. That is something unique in Jackson.
Can you talk a little bit about, just in terms of the economic impact, whether it's how many boots you've had on the ground doing work here, what kind of dollars you've probably seen go into the economy as a result of this project to date?
This is a $15 million project, and we try to employ as many subcontractors here in the metro area as we can. Each of these units represents something like 2 permanent jobs in the economy, not just while these are under construction, but after they're built. Okay. Then the impact of having these families in these units at an affordable rate of rent allows them to put more money into the economy from their paychecks. So this is a housing development that will continue to pay dividends for Jackson way into the future.
So what kind of feedback have you gotten from the community? I know it takes getting buy-in from folks. What has that been like since you've been here working?
It's been great. A lot of the neighbors who are still in this neighborhood, because we're building these houses in between existing homes, are very pleased to see what's going on in their community because it shows activity and life and new investment, and that's a good thing.
And that's why I asked. When I was driving in, I could see some homes that look like they've been here for quite some time. And normally that's not the norm. Normally when a project like this comes in, you see folks like that being pushed out, they're being bought out, and then or the rates go up around them. How have you all been able to keep that balance here in this community?
Well, we have another project near the medical mall that's underway right now as well, and there have been neighbors that have gone in, and this has encouraged them to fix up their properties, and we've even provided them paint. So it's been a good deal all the way around. We see folks now take pride in their neighborhood, and that's something that we're glad to bring.
Well, I know that you've talked about the families that'll be moving in over the next couple of months. What about those folks who are interested in being a part of something like this?
We have a huge waiting list. These houses are all spoken for. Right. There is a process that they go through. Everybody gets a background check, but there is a waiting list. And if you're interested, you can follow up with us. We'll add you to the waiting list, but it's a long waiting list.
Yeah. Well, I guess finally, my last question would definitely have to be, do you think that the way that we're going here in the city with investments, particularly in housing, do you see this as if you build it, it'll come, the chicken or the egg? How do you see these kinds of developments as it relates to spurring economic development and pride in the city?
There's lots of opportunity to do more of this type of development. It just requires working together.
Okay. All right, well, thank you so much, Mr. Gill. We appreciate your time and the work that you've done here. Jackson, Mississippi, this is, again, just proof that the city is indeed vibrant, that there are still folks who are interested in seeing the city do well. Mr. Gibb and his company, the charter group, they are all interested in seeing the city do well. And this is the kind of things that are happening all around town. And we're going to be bringing you more of this as time goes on to show you that we are Jackson and that we are definitely vibrant. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Mayor. We'll be right back with WAJ News.
Residents of the City of Jackson can report concerns to the Constituent Services Action Line by dialing 311. Those who dial 311 will speak with a representative who will complete the report and issue a tracking number that allows residents to monitor the progress of the report. When using your mobile device and dialing 311 does not work, the alternative is to dial 601-960-1111. And as always, you can visit the city's website by logging on to www.jacksonms.gov to make a report and track the progress of the report.
Welcome back to WAJ News. The city is moving forward with a project to repair a major water main break on Woodrow Wilson Drive. The road remains passable for motorists as crews continue to assess the condition of the site to keep it safe until the repair work can begin. Engineers have designed the complex repair. This project requires a custom-built new pipe as the break occurred on a 36-inch water line constructed in the 1960s. The water has not been shut off because the main serves critical facilities. When work begins, the public will be informed about a detour in advance. Let's turn our attention to our first studio guest. Fire Chief R.D. Simpson is here to discuss the upcoming Citizens Fire Academy and other safety tips that the citizens can benefit from. Welcome, Chief Simpson.
Thank you for having me.
It's so, as always, a pleasure to have you in the studio and to have some dialogue about the fantastic thing that's going on in the Jackson Fire Department. And let me say on the front end, as I often do, thank you for your service. Thank you for what you do in your representation of our capital city. That being said, I'll let you take it from here and just come as you would like and talk to us about this awesome Citizen Fire Academy.
Well, what we're doing is we're introducing, and this is probably our second or third time doing this Citizen Academy, the second under my leadership. What we are doing is we find that the average citizens really doesn't know what the fire department do. A lot of times I've heard it a lot of times when y'all show up on the scene, it seems like all y'all just get out the fire trucks and just start running together. And it's actually a systematic process that we go through. And in having a Citizen Academy will introduce the citizens to our job set, the equipment that we work with, the heavy equipment that we work with, the apparatuses that we use, a lot of the knowledge that the average person might not even conceive that firemen have to go through. So it's an opportunity to get just a small glimpse of the life of a firefighter. Well,
it's good to hear that, and I certainly appreciate you as the leader of the fire department, certainly providing such a wonderful opportunity for the citizens of Jackson. But let me ask you this. You said this is your second such class. Talk to us a bit about the successes of the first class. How did they go and what all did they do in line with the academy?
It went well. It was a process where we were trying to get things together because we don't do a lot of Citizens Academy classes. but it's something that we felt like it's a need, because a lot of people do not understand, you know, what we do.
Sure.
And how taxing our job is when we do have to go out and extinguish a fire or something like that. It seems there's always a lot of interest. I mean, you would be amazed of how adults and people who are not in the profession love to get out and grab a hose line that's charged with water coming out of it and actually spray it on the wall to see what it feels like to actually hold a hose that we go into a structure and extinguish fires with. Or as simple as picking up equipment that is, you know, and some equipment might be 15, 20 pounds, and having to have to work with that particular equipment for upwards to an hour before you see any kind of a break or something like that. It's very taxing on the body, and it gives the citizen an opportunity to really appreciate the profession that we are blessed to work in.
Awesome. And with that, those are certainly some wonderful specifics in terms of what the candidate, if you will, in the Citizen Academy would have an opportunity to do. Are there some other exercises, like real-world exercises that firefighters do every day that the citizens will get a chance to do as well?
Yes, we will also go over some scenarios. There'll be, it's going to be a snapshot in each division inside fire service. Believe it or not, a lot of people might not even know this, but fire service is more than just those trucks that you see going up and down the streets, putting out fires and doing medical calls on accidents. There's other divisions that are very vital in fire service. They'll be introduced to those divisions as well.
That's awesome, man. But I dare say they would not be running into a burning building.
No, we won't be.
I imagine as a person who appreciates safety, you won't take it that far.
That's correct.
But I know that if my memory serves me well enough, they do get a chance to go out to the actual fire academy and see how that's structured.
Yes.
And I know that's generally what they call a field trip exercise, so I'm sure that the citizens get a lot out of that as well.
Right.
Well, again, I appreciate that. Remind if you will, let the audience know when this academy in the process of becoming a candidate in the academy.
Well, we're accepting applications now. We're still accepting applications. We're accepting those, I think, until the 19th of this month. And the academy is set to begin January 25th, promptly. I think we have it now from 6 to 8.
Okay. And I imagine since this show is airing, it's probably going to be within a couple of days before the deadline. Is there any way that you might be able to extend the deadline if it gives you enough time to get more people in? Maybe?
Well, we're going to be on a tight schedule because of the fact that we will be starting the academy on the 25th, and we need that scheduling ability to go on and map out how many applications and applicants that we have, so we'll be able to have all the exercises and everything that's needed. So if we're able to extend it, it's going to be a short extension.
We understand. And before you go, just real briefly, talk to us also about some fire safety tips you might want to share with the viewing audience, and also if there are any special programs like we talked about it off air about the smoke detector giveaway. Talk about that.
Sure. It's the winter time, and during the winter time, of course, everyone wants to be warm. Everybody's trying to find some kind of way to stay warm. And what tends to happen during that time frame is a lot of alternate heat sources are used. The most safest thing that I've always tell everybody is to be familiar with your particular heat source. If you're using space heaters, which they're still around, there are safety measures now on space heaters as opposed to using live flames. Now they use infrared. It's all different kinds of things. But if you still happen to have the old gas space heaters, be familiar with those particular heat sources. Know how to properly light that heat source. Of course, don't leave it unattended. Don't have anything around it like curtains and drapes and stuff like that. You don't want any kind of fire hazard around an open flame because it will ignite and then you'll have a fire on your hands. In regards to smoke detectors, you can call 601-960-1399, and we will be able to pass out smoke detectors to our citizens, because safety is our number one, is the number one thing that we always look out for, and prevention will always save lives. So we're big and heavy on prevention.
Well, as a citizen of the city, I appreciate your philosophy when it comes to how to remain safe, and your emphasis on the safety aspect of a citizen here in the city of Jackson. So again, time is never on our side, Chief. It goes so quickly. We're so glad to have you as part of our show once again, and of course, you know you have an open invitation. We know we'll be bringing you back real soon. Okay. Keep up the great work as the fearless leader of the Jackson Fire Department, and thank you again for all that you do.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back with WAJ News.
Hi, I'm Mayor Tony Yarber.
And I'm Jackson Police Chief Lee Vance.
Here in the city of Jackson, we recognize that you're our #1 crime-fighting resource. So we're providing you with a tool to help us respond to criminal activity in a timely manner.
Tip 411 allows residents to text or submit crime tips. Your name is not important, your information is. Officers will receive your messages and react in real time.
My #1 priority is your safety. This tool helps us work together to make Jackson a safer place.
Welcome back to WAJ News. The city is progressing with its new initiative to revitalize a major Jackson corridor. The recently launched pilot project is called the Jackson Gateway Initiative. It's targeting areas along Capitol Street. The city's partners on the project are the Mississippi Housing Partnership and the Green and Healthy Housing Initiative. The project focuses on the comprehensive rehabilitation of homes in the area. The first phase is funded with a federal grant. The city hopes to leverage additional funds via private and public partnerships. For more information, contact Ms. Athena Richard at area code 601-969-1895. A homebuyer's education workshop will be held Saturday, February 6th at 9 a.m. at 200 South President Street. Discussion topics will include credit counseling, financial management, and assistance. We'll be right back with WAJ News.
AmeriCorps strengthens communities and develops leaders through community service. Are you ready to make a difference? AmeriCorps allows you to use your energy and talents to help others while earning money and gaining job skills. If you are age 18 or older, AmeriCorps is waiting for you.
Welcome back to WAJ News. We now have in the studio Ms. Elise McBride, Special Project Coordinator with the Mayor's Office, to discuss TutorMate, an online literacy program sponsored by Jackson Public Schools, which is one of the city's top partners. Welcome to the studio, Ms. McBride. It's glad to have you here again.
Good to be here. Thank you, Mr. Chrysler.
Well, thank you for coming out today and certainly sharing with the viewing audience about this wonderful TutorMate program. And it certainly, say on the front end, in keeping with Mayor Yarber's intent to make sure that we're doing our part to make sure our future generations are better prepared.
Absolutely.
So as we've done many, many times now, we certainly will allow for you to explain to the public what this program is specifically geared toward.
It is specifically geared towards literacy. It is an online reading program where city employees, specifically not only city employees, but there are other corporate sponsors, but city employees have the opportunity to tutor right from their desk. Some may remember that last year we did the Book Buddy program where we went out to the schools, and because of some of the response and the travel time and not being able to make some of the things fit into that lunch hour, Jackson Public Schools, along with their partners in education, Innovations for Education, came up with or had already had a program out there and decided they would implement TutorMate in some of their schools in Ward 4 and Ward 5.
Wonderful. Now, in keeping with that, it appears that maybe ward specific, is that correct, or is it throughout the city of Jackson?
So it's throughout JPS, but the specific schools that we're looking at are Ward 4 schools and Ward 5 schools. What they did was they looked at some of the scores and looked at what some of the needs were and where they had the technology already in place to help support a literacy tutoring program such as this. So like I said, employees would be able to sit right at their desk. They will remote in, they'll log into their computer, they'll see the reading passage that the student is reading, and they'll call the student on the phone, or the student will call in, and they will listen to them read. They will help them with diction, they will help them with fluency. They will help them with pronunciation, and then of course they would do some of the analytical stuff where they will analyze the material with the student by asking them a series of questions.
Would it be accurate to say that this program in its infant stage is a pilot program? Is that fair enough? And I'm asking that before you answer because I know you're saying it is specific to 2 wards in the city. I guess what I'm asking, is this intended to be a citywide project at some point?
Maybe so. That is not something that I can answer accurately because it is headed up by JPS and Partners in Education. They reached out to us and they said, this is what we have, this is the platform, and this is what we would like for you guys to do. We want you to take on a class at one of these schools. That's
understood, and certainly I wanted the viewing audience to know that in terms of why, a certain sector of the city makes sense. It's a new program, and I certainly think it's going to be a successful program. And I appreciate you sharing with us the importance of literacy, because we know that statistics show that if a child is not able to read by the 3rd grade level, then more than likely they will end up in the criminal justice system. And certainly not a good way. And so I'm excited, and I know everybody who's viewing this program is also equally excited that Mayor Yarber and the city administration is putting at the forefront of what our issues are in this city. And that is, again, better educating our youth. And so that's good to hear. So right now, what's the official start date for the program?
The start date for the program for JPS has already launched. They do have some of their corporate sponsors who are already in place. They have classrooms of tutors already assigned. So with our process, we're now starting in January, and we get a chance to lead up to the testing in April. The good thing about this program, even though our 3rd graders are the ones being tested, this is something that we're working with. We're orienting our students to computerized testing more often than they would get with just being in the classroom alone. So along with the pre-K literacy, we're starting with our kindergarten and 1st graders. So the City of Jackson, we will be privileged to work with a group of 1st graders on this particular program.
Awesome. And so if I heard you correctly, the program has been successfully launched.
Yes, sir.
So is that for us to operate understanding that there are already tutors fully engaged right now with the students?
There are tutors already fully engaged with the students. Right now, I want to put it out there that we, the City of Jackson, are still recruiting. We would like to get up to 30 tutors from the City of Jackson. We've already had, after a council meeting and the agenda item being passed, we've already had outside partners who want to engage with us. So Jackson Public Schools and Partners in Education is very excited about that because, as you stated earlier, it is an opportunity to be able to expand this program beyond what we currently have. So right now, we're just trying to make sure that we meet the needs with the capacity that we have.
Other than the citizens calling in and making inquiries about the program and wanting to get involved, is there anything else you could encourage them to do in terms of with respect to the program?
Yes, sir. Always know that you can reach out to Jackson Public Schools. You can reach out to Partners in Education, and also Alignment Jackson, which is one of those key partners with Jackson Public Schools to make sure that some of these gaps are being bridged insofar as making sure there are tutors, that there are trips to libraries, librarians are coming in. We've reached out to our retired community to make sure that those folks who want to get engaged, there's an opportunity to do so. We know that the heart of volunteerism and service, being an employee of the city, is at the heart of what we do. So here is a fluid opportunity for not only our outside partners, but the focus here is for our city employees to be able to engage and be able to share with those students, even in a passing conversation, what it is that they do on a daily basis. So there may be passages that may relate to firemen or may relate to police officers, and they may have a fireman or police officer on the line who can talk to them more about what it is that they do for a living. And that helps sow some seed and give some ideas and show students that there's always endless possibilities for what they can do just through literacy.
Well, at the risk of running out of time, and certainly we're working on our last minute of the segment, explain, if you can, in maybe 30 seconds on the specifics, of the program, because if I understood you correctly offline, the tutor doesn't necessarily have to be physically with the child. So explain that a little bit.
Right. So you will go on to tutormate.org. You would register under the City of Jackson. There'll be a drop-down box. Once you register, there is an online training that you will register for. It will walk you straight through how you would call in, how you pull up the passages. From there, Partners in Education will send you out an email of your assigned student and time. This time may be during your lunch hour, it may not, but all of that is already covered. From there, we are asking that none of our tutors would schedule on Fridays because of scheduling. We want you to schedule anywhere from Monday through Thursday from the school, and the school will provide the schedule. And just be present every week. It's once a week, 30 minutes, and we're looking at up to 16 sessions.
Good information. Well, again, we've run out of time, and that
Okay.
means that we hopefully got a lot in. And I know there are going to be future questions about the program. If you would, Ms. McBride, we'll scroll it on the screen, but if you would give them your name and contact number and how to reach you in order to have more questions about the program.
Okay. You can reach out to me, Elise McBride, at 960-1084, or you can reach out to the Director of Youth Initiatives, that's Ms. Bridget Townsend, and she can be reached at 960-1084 as well.
Fantastic. You've been a great guest, as
Thank you, sir.
always, and we certainly will be looking forward to having you in the studio again real soon.
Thank you so much.
And thank you. We'll be right back with WAJ News.
Frozen drinks to cool off, and if that's not enough, a fun water slide and a cool splash pad and stuff. Look at that. Here we go. We can ride on a train. I don't know about you. I've got zoo on the brain. What a day, what a day. Lots to see, lots to do. Just one question to ask. How do you zoo?
Welcome back to WAJ News. Here's a list of some upcoming community events. Now let's turn our attention to Dr. Timothy Quinn with Healthy Jackson.
Hey, new year, new everything. Well, what I want to do is give you some pointers because a lot of people want to work on their weight. That's the most common New Year's resolution. I have a diet that works. It's called the Q diet. Now, if you look at Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, all the diets, the same concept. It's not so much of what you eat, but it's how you eat. As we get older, our metabolism is going to slow down. I mean, that's just part of aging. I mean, when we were teenagers, we could eat whatever we want. I remember my coach saying, you need to gain weight, you know, and I was eating all this food and still getting knocked all over the place on the defensive line. But the bottom line is this diet includes eating every 3 hours. So you ask, how can you do that? I mean, everybody is so busy, their schedules are full. You just have to plan the night before. And hey, make your meals the night before and then, you know, take them to work with you in a lunchbox, and every 3 hours you eat. Now, what does it do? The first thing it does is it speeds your metabolism up, because if you're eating every 3 hours, your metabolic rate is actually going to speed up because your body's going to get a message to say, hey, I can go ahead and burn calories. The second thing that's going to happen is when you do eat, you're not so hungry. You know, let's imagine you eat dinner at 7 o'clock at night and then you eat lunch at 12 the next day. From 7 at night until 7 in the morning is 12 hours. From 7 in the morning until noon is another 5 hours. That's 17 hours with no nutrition. So when you do eat, you're starving. So it's hard to make the healthy choice. And the third reaction that occurs is you store less fat, because as I said, eating every 3 hours, it sends a message back to your brain saying that, you know, it's okay. You don't have to store the fat in the stomach and for the ladies, you know, in those areas, and you have a more lean body build. And actually that is better for you as far as not developing hypertension, diabetes, and heart disease, which can be deadly. So remember, every 3 hours, a small meal, it works. It increases your metabolism. It causes you to store less fat, and when you do eat, you can make a better choice because you're not so hungry. Thank you so much, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of WAJ We Are Jackson News. From everyone here, thank you for watching WAJ News. I'm Marshawn Chrysler. Good day, Jackson.